And here we go. We need to. Wow. Okay, I can see us. It's working.
Oh,
Could you see AA now?
I can. I thought you were talking about the Discord chat. That's why I was so confused.
No.
What even?
I'm not sure.
Oh, this is so strange.
Okay, so hi everyone. Sorry about that strange introduction. It's all a bit funny, huh? Um, this week Miles is not around, and also we're kind of getting to the end of Bokuz, which is exciting. And also I just realized that because I've got used to using StreamYard, so a lot of the streams that you saw us do for the World Building Festival are on StreamYard, which means that we can have two people on screen at the same time. What a luxury! So, Jonathan, would you like to introduce yourself
Sure.
so that they can have a picture of you?
Oh yes, of course. I'm here. Hello. Do
Okay.
I need like an introduction, or is that good?
I don't know. We do have someone new here. I'm deeply confused by the whole situation. Okay. This is very strange. Oh, okay. So, what do should we just get into it?
Yeah, I think you're gonna need to tell me what you need me to do.
Okay, yeah, that's very fair. So,
Why am I here?
so basically, we did start talking about this last week. Um, everyone's confused. Uh, so, uh, basically,
Maybe just try to ignore the chat for right now.
yeah, me too. I'm gonna if I can easily make people mods, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm not gonna worry about it because um that way I can just um not worry about anything. uh uh wait, did I? Oh, okay. So now that's done. And sorry for not asking people. I just made people mods. I wanted to. I clearly am so much more chaotic when I'm in charge. I feel like normally I'm there trying to get Miles to do what I want. Now I'm just
And here I'm just sitting here watching whatever is happen.
yeah, you're watching me have an existential crisis about what is going on in the chat. So
Did you make me a mod?
maybe not actually. Because I thought that you also were gonna not look at the chat.
I shouldn't. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. But now that you've said it, I feel bad. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go.
All the mods, everyone.
Oh, it's getting even more like line time in here.
Yeah. Is it a good thing? Not sure.
You can't say that yet. We have. I really shouldn't have looked at the chat at that moment. I was gonna say you can't say that yet because we don't know if David and Jesse are watching.
Yeah. So strange.
Okay.
Maybe
So
we
what
are
we
living in the simulation. So we last time we basically settled on a stage of the language that we were going to develop the script at.
Yes.
Really can't. Oh, is this... Oh,
Okay, so we have
Google told me I had to
stage.
reduce my noise levels because it was too bad. So I'll try and have an internal ethical crisis. Okay, so the thing is that, like, so it's not on screen, which is not helpful. I don't know what's the best way to show. Oh, the script is in the doc, so let me share that with people.
Yes.
So now you can see.
Yes, I can.
So in each row, we have this, which is, I think that in the end, the script goes all the way back to essentially the proto-Bza phonemes.
I believe so,
Yeah.
yes.
So you'll note that there is no representation of schwa. And there is the labial velars are still labial velars in this thing. So basically, when we did the script for Nasi Bomo, we wrote it in a stage where it had undergone basically all the grammatical stuff had undergone a certain amount of respelling, while everything else was normal or historical, I mean. But we used the A glyph could represent both A and E in Nasi Bomo. And there wasn't any cases where those would have been contrastive, so that was fine. So what we're doing now is we're saying that this script is brought into the language at a point in time where the language has the script is being used to represent a language with a quite different phonology. And the question is, how do we represent that? Sorry, I'm just very aggressively scrolling everywhere. With the script, and also understanding what stage things in the script would be at as well.
Right.
However, and I haven't prepared this. Do you think that people will need to see the results? I don't think it's worth putting them up. Basically, not that many people voted in our Patreon.
I may have been one of those people who forgot to vote, but
well,
I would have voted for what was the winning outcome anyway. So
yeah. So basically, for the old Bza, well, not old because I mean, new loan words, I guess, would also be spelled like this also. But basically, Bza loans will retain their funky spelling. Whereas when we look at how we're going to write native words, we can have a bit more regularity. Maybe that's the right word. Basically, that they would, it would be very, it'd be very English of us if we were like, well, because sometimes these two glyphs both make the H sound, then we're gonna use. We're not doing that. I think I want to know what the standard correspondence is, and then there will be, especially because I'm trying to think of a good example. So we have the two D glyphs. Well, but phonemically in that there's two different sounds, da and da. I'm not very good at the pharyngals still, but anyway. And so when they would write the Bza loan words, they would just have to know which D is the foreign D, and I could have picked a better example. Which N is the foreign N, which N is the standard N.
Right.
It kind of works like that in Thai, although I feel like I'm always saying when it comes to scripts that I am involved with this works like Thai.
Well, so part of my well, I have a question, which is basically how much like sustained contact is there between these two groups of speakers after the point of learning? Because that can make a big difference if the scripts are developing, or two versions of the script are developing in parallel with two speaker groups who are still in contact, and that's going to make a big difference versus if there's a borrowing event and then for whatever reason there's no more contact.
So I remember that I talked about this last week, and now I'm remembering that I don't think.
Also, just in case some people are new, we have two versions of each letter here. Those are kind of two different styles of writing. Those aren't two different stages. So the chart, as we've been showing it, the IPA is proto sounds, but then the two forms after that are both modern versions of the script in sort of two different styles of writing.
And we've said that this one on the far, the rightmost one, is what we're thinking of turning into a font.
Yes, mostly just because the left one was the basis for the font that was created last time. So,
and this one will not be based on the Arial font.
It will not. I don't think that would work very
well. I can't quite imagine all the loops looking very nice. Okay, so one thing I realize is that I had thought about doing this and then I didn't, which is a great reason, I know. Was basically working out what the phonemes of the language are at the stage that we had decided to do it. And was the 9th a week ago? Yeah, it was. So if I import, no, not that. So I'm going to import some words. And these are basically just the list of roots that we originally used for this family of languages. So myself, Miles, Tethys, Bubba, and Magpie have all made languages in this family. And if I go to Gestu, then you should be able to see that. Okay, this is not what I was hoping to find.
Oh no. What's the problem?
No, it could be a lot worse. This is the file with all three systems I had.
Right. Oh, you just didn't want all the
Yeah. So yes, that is correct, I think. Although really this one doesn't matter. And yeah. Okay. So we had said that we would go with the middle romanization.
right.
And my thought with this was I was thinking that the speech community that introduced the script, like we have this very early stage where the loans come in, which is here. And the script is solidified in the language at a point where basically all of the sounds that weren't originally in Bokuz, because I added the rules to convert Bza roots into Bokuz words after we had done the main set of sound changes. There were some small tweaks that I had to add, although I don't think they have actually changed anything we'd already put in the document. Although if I do spot anything, I'll update it. But basically, where am I going with this? So the impression that I have is that you have basically enough contact with a group of people that use the script. Like I had thought that there was probably like an established trade relationship there at this point.
Okay.
But that the words had gone beyond, like you would have had like a specialist class or something that would have been bilingual essentially. I'm thinking of like when Korean and Japanese adopted Chinese loanwords.
Right.
So the languages now have a huge number of loanwords, but at one point it would have only have been merchants and the literate people who would have been able to speak Chinese languages. And then people start adopting the loanwords, but they do so with kind of native accents effectively. And so people can pick up on new phonetic systems. Like Japanese didn't have coda ends until after Chinese influence. Before that point, they tended to coalesce.
Yeah. So if I could interrupt for a second.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I was asking
whenever you want.
Part of the reason I was asking the question is because if there is this like prolonged, sustained contact from the stage at which the script is borrowed, then as one language changes in how it uses a letter, that could influence the other. So it's like even though we say like, I don't know, I'm trying to find a good example, but like with the the two sounds that come out as H and Nasibomo, the
Mhm.
um
The
anyway,
voiced and unvoiced pharyngeal fricative.
yeah. So if we had like some equivalent of those and we say, okay, well, they're gonna pick one of these and then that gets used, we don't have to say that it stays that way, because if they continue to have this relationship and it's like, well, now this letter has this other meaning, especially if there's sort of like a lot of back and forth still, I feel like that could change. And so what I
Okay.
would like to do before we go too much further is at the modern phonologies and just compare them and just point out places where it's like, if somehow this was like getting updated in parallel, like completely evolved,
Mhm.
like one to one, what would we still need to account for
So I don't
minimum,
have
and then from there we can expand a little bit.
I don't have a good answer for you.
Right, you said at the beginning you were.
Yeah, basically the closest that we've even talked about was if like making a language for the people who still live in this river basin. Um, if I go here and I go to culture, is the pretty map hasn't made it in here yet. So basically, um, I'm trying to think what a good way to, because this actually doesn't match Nat's map very well. Um, I'm I think I know where it is. I'll just insert the whole map and then we can crop it.
Okay.
So um
Oh, while you're doing that, I just wanted to mention that like part of the reason that I think it is maybe not super unrealistic to have sort of parallel changes is if we're talking about using that other style for a font, then that means that like the changes in the graphical nature of the script are pretty closely parallel, which means it could be the same for like how it's actually used, if that makes sense.
mhm.
All right. Okay.
Okay, there we go. And make it smaller. Also, I should have put this
So
on
it is a.
more zoomed in. Um so
Oh, Michael, yes, you did. We're figuring out some script stuff right now.
we have so many new people. This is
We do.
very strange for us. um I think that we've done pretty well after the world building festival. We've had like minimum 50 views a day, which is very strange for us. We used to get like that each week. Um, so it's nice that there are new people here. Just we don't know how to deal with onboarding. um, there is another map. This is the one that Nat did, and in that map there was essentially a river that, quite unrealistically, now that I look at it, basically just went like, can you? Yeah, you can see my cursor.
Yeah.
Um, it basically went like up here or something.
Mm,
Um, I think it makes sense that this basin is like this. Part of it is just that there have been a few different uh, there've been a few different versions of the map. So at one point, these islands actually just covered the bay here. And this was the original bay. And now the bay has become all of this.
I see.
So I'm trying not to be too pernickety. Is that stickety? Anyway, like I'm trying not to worry too much and I'm just rolling with it. I think that the climate stuff still makes sense. But basically, the Bokuz community is at this confluence up here. And the idea would be that some Bza speakers, I mean, it very well could be that you have some community up in the highland areas here who they manage to go across the rivers and they come down on the river here. Because people will generally move a lot faster on these bits than going over this. If that all makes sense. So even like I was talking to Miles about this, it would be quite interesting to have a Gatlao related language in this border area here that also gets written with this script, because the script is obviously
that would be interesting.
A regional thing. But we've heard that people are very excited about the Mihirungs, so we're probably headed south next. And like, if we're doing all of that, I should be able to write Gestul in this script as well, which would be interesting to work out.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So I still don't think any of that has actually answered your question. One thing I would say is that with contact languages, you would usually expect them to change in parallel, right? So if you look at Bulgarian and Greek and Albanian, because they're in that Sprachbund with Turkish, like they all have adopted some features, and before the invention of like the current kind of Greek, I don't remember the proper name for it, but they basically did a artificial cleansing of the language, and took out a lot of loan words and made new Greek ones. So like I think it wouldn't be wrong to say that actually probably whichever bizarre speakers also ended up in this area, if we know that they're keeping the historical spellings, it's possible that they have some kind of old texts that they refer to. And it's, as I'm world building this, I'm thinking this sounds very like Abrahamic.
Well,
like this kind of stuff really isn't super common everywhere, but basically, if they had enough materials that were written in this with basically the full consonant inventory, then there wouldn't be a reason for them to. Oh, I mean, this does happen. Like, this is basically what happens with Tibetan and Thai and all of these languages that are effectively graphically old because they haven't changed spelling in a long time.
Yeah, I think it could really go any one of a number of ways. It's just I kind of want to see where we're like starting at, if that makes sense.
You mean the phonemes in?
Yeah, maybe. So, are we assuming the proto languages are spoken at the same time ish?
No.
No.
I can tell you at what point the first loan words arrive at. And I can tell you I can calculate what the phonemes are here. Like, for example, we know that we have this allophone of u, but that is entirely allophonic at this point.
Sorry, where are you exactly?
David, catching strays. Sorry, I need to think about when I change tabs.
Got it.
So like you can look at yuho. So that the o becomes a u, and then it becomes a so zuhu, and then this becomes zuhi.
Right.
It would basically mean that they would know that if you have a written final u, that it would be pronounced as e.
Right.
So this middle stage here is, and I can export it just with this. So this is kind of what we're expecting the writing to be covering.
Right.
So part of me was thinking that we would just like go up here, we'd find the closest thing to H, which I guess would be the pharyngeal.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh, h, u, b, w, e.
I mean, it's not going to be that far off from that at the very least.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're saying it as if it's like an overly simplistic approach, but I think what I was trying to get at before is that like for a lot of this, that will be pretty close at the very least, and then we can finesse it. But obviously, the finessing is by far the hardest part there.
And I know that when I go back to here, that like for example, well, I think all of the V's come from these W's, but there will be V's that come from the bizarre languages that will be different.
Yeah.
To be honest, picking this stage, there isn't actually that much that is. The annoying thing will be things like working out what to do with schwa and e, like the sound, because it's entirely phonemic, the distinction between and a in so like there could be woma and wome and wema and weme, and they would all be like, we probably wouldn't make them all different words, which means that there is a chance that like they would just write them all with one of the existing vowels, particularly considering the I outside of stressed syllables always becomes eh. Although in that same environment, the eh is lost because it goes to schwa, so it would just become Okay, what are you thinking?
I don't know. There's a lot going on here. It's a little hard to keep track, to be honest. So can we just compare? Well, okay, so you said that the proto-languages are not at the same time, but
they're close enough if you did want to do that.
Can we at least compare? Do we have a kind of like lists of sounds that for each one at the time of the writing system being borrowed approximately? Because I think that's the place to start from, right? But I know it's kind of hard to get to that point.
So I think that I can edit this table. So from what we've like, but do you just want the native sounds, right?
I would like to see to compare the two tables essentially. So like what sounds do we have in the alphabet that's coming in, and what sounds do we need to represent with that alphabet?
Okay. I'll get the nasi bomber in, and I'll check the sound changes. Um, do, do, do. Um, um, okay. Bokuz.
Actually, another thing that might be helpful is if I have access to this document, because right now I can only really watch what
Oh,
you're
okay. Yeah.
showing.
Oh
Oh,
no.
oh no.
I mean, those I'm not too worried. I will stop sharing though,
Okay,
and while I add you.
thank you.
Um, um, I don't. I know I have your email on my personal account, but I don't.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Oh, I better not type it wrong now like I just did.
Um, and I'm checking what's. Yeah. Okay. We always have the height of professionalism a little bit.
I have so many just like random documents on my computer that's like, oh, here's the list of the sounds and where they come from, but like I don't have everything in like a convenient place to look at it, and I think that's what's sort of throwing me off right now.
Okay. You have editor access now
Thank you.
to that one.
I don't have. Oh, will it have sent me a link? Maybe. Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry about doxing you. Sharing your conlanging email address with the world. Actually, no. Like, please. I mean, someone would have to be like quite far into this stream to try and find it, but oh well. Okay.
All right.
So this is this is actually the bizarre. No, wrong point here. And this is where I'm kind of annoyed that I have to be so zoomed in, because when I'm at 100, I think it fits okay. Okay, here we go. And I'm not this all working. I love being a passenger princess for miles. It really is good for me. So I know that the schwa is a funny sound change, because the way that I think about it is
So
essentially that the schwa is always there, and then we delete it.
right.
It's just that they never bother writing it.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah, because it made the system make so much more sense to treat it that way, that it's all a bit retconny.
Yeah.
So see, I'm not even sure whether this. No, we do it. one of the strange things is that we actually chose to learn it at a point in time where the vowel shift has already happened. So where you have certain combinations, so a palatal and a consonant and a labialized, that's not how you spell that, and a consonant.
I mean, that's still not how I spell it, but yeah.
Well, actually that one produces O, but we have a way of writing O. And then specifically with I don't know the name of
I don't know.
but anyway, that followed by that becomes this, which is kind of funny, and I don't know why we even bothered doing that, but
Okay.
like I think that we thought it was interesting at the time, and now I look at it and I just think, why?
I get that.
Part of it, I'm gonna like put Miles on blast right now. Miles loves a rule where a kind of non-front unrounded vowel like changes in quality to match a surrounding vowel. And I do not love it as much as Miles does. But we have a rule like that in Nasi Bomo and in Yatal.
Okay,
And
well.
it's a fine rule, and I'll probably end up bringing it up in the Pillar World languages. But, it means that like I have to like account in the sound changes for this vowel that only occurs in a very small number of places.
Yes. Okay.
And technically, the alveolar palatal obstruent harmony has already happened in this, so I can put those in there.
Okay.
But everything else in this is normal's the wrong word, but basically as you would expect. And I hate that I can't see everything. Here we go. Okay. So we have, and I hope my IPA keyboard will cooperate. I think it's under C. Yeah. We have that, and we have, is this under question mark? Yes, that's the right one. Yeah. And then, no. Here we go. So this is the, oh, and I think that there are palatal, like, we technically also have like this stuff going on. It's when David said that we had too many consonants, he was in this case actually right.
Oh yeah, those. Yeah, those. Yeah.
Yeah, there's somewhere over here now that they exist at this point in time.
However, we will possibly not have to worry about those so much today.
No.
We'll see. Okay, so now that I'm sort of looking at some stuff side by side, one thing that is really popping out at me as about the oh, wait a minute, did I mess up something? We don't, right, so we need voicing distinction with the bilabial stops, which we don't have. So that is something which the alphabet we're learning does not have a distinction, but the language does. So that's interesting.
But remember that it's not technically, this is why I don't like this keyboard. I'm going back to what my normal, like, one thing I was thinking of is that these are like,
whoa. What's happening? Okay.
these are basically one sound change away from becoming
yeah. Okay.
labial, like labial velar
That's
co-produced
interesting.
consonants, right?
Okay.
So
yeah.
but we also have like a lot of in the language we have native sequences. This should have been further up. And to be fair, like enough of these sequences happen with stops that aren't K and G that it doesn't make sense to use those special characters when it's with K and G and like boy, right? And now that I've said this, there aren't any others. But you know what I mean, right?
I'm not certain that I do, to be honest. What wouldn't make sense to use?
Let me make a word.
Okay.
So you can imagine that we have a word that in proto stage is like kua, and in this romanization stage, it will come out as qua.
Yes.
And the question is, would they write this using the special character, or would they write it using two distinct ones?
That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, the temptation is to say they would write it with two separate ones so that we can use the qua one, which becomes kpa and is maybe sort of on that track already for P, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it might not be necessarily so simple. It could be an interesting thing to have, like, sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other. If this sound change is sort of like underway but not complete at the time of learning, then it's like you might get some speakers who are hearing it one way versus the other.
The other thing that I'm not actually a huge fan of, but I don't want to change for, I don't know, maybe this is a silly reason. I don't really like that they all go to gva in the modern language, because basically the W becomes a V, and we have fricatives here.
Oh, I see. That's why that was. Okay. I was wondering about that.
Yeah. And so, in theory, and this is a bit, I'm not a huge fan of it, but you could basically say that the K, like the qua glyph is always P, and the gwa is always gva, because you wouldn't need to ever have
right.
gva.
It feels inconsistent in the way that, like, part of me wants to like make it neat and not like that, but then also writing systems are so inconsistent anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They could have some kind of diacritic that means that you know that one is a P and one is a. Or they could do a digraph, like if it was B.
I have to remind myself of what these letters look like. Okay, so the gua is the turtle, and or the David, And then the Kwa is, oh, what does that one even represent? I don't remember.
The Kwa.
Calabash. Oh, it's the,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
The Qualabash.
The Kwa, yes. It looks kind of like a nose, but it is not a nose.
Not even a Quoz.
Nope.
Um,
And then Gua is not on the screen; it's somewhere else. But
the Gua.
yeah. So one, this is I'm just gonna say this, even though I don't really like the idea, but we're not going to be using. I assume we're not going to be using the franchized Z, which is otherwise graphically very similar to the Gua. The
Well, they would
circle.
only use it in
They
loanwords.
would use it in loanwords. Yeah, I was gonna say if they could be like, oh, this is like a version of that letter. But if it's coming up in the loanwords, I keep forgetting about that. I don't think we want to do that necessarily. But we could do a diacritic. I want to try to. I'm not feeling diacritics for this particular.
Especially, I think if we have the mono height one,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like.
They if especially because it would be coming up only rarely, so they would really stick out. What if we just say that sometimes that letter is, I mean, it just has multiple sounds. It's already gonna have multiple sounds from native words versus loan words. I think we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, let me actually write this down so I don't forget everything we've done.
Do you want to put your screen up?
No,
Okay.
I have
No,
a whole
we're
bunch
not
of
there yet. Okay.
we are not. Well, because so I mean, I guess the question is, are we adapting this script at like graphically? Are we making changes, or are we going to be? Is this a case of we're using this alphabet in a different way?
I think. I mean, one thing that like obviously diacritics don't have to be above or below. It could be that you have
That's true.
something on the side, or some kind of modified form that isn't like detachable or something. I don't know.
What if we used like did a weird thing where if it is coming out as gv, we're using the
The
original
word
gwa
with
or
it.
character and then also the w.
I think I think at that point, why wouldn't you respell it? I guess
Well,
historicals.
right, wasn't that the whole
Yeah.
thing? There, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so there's always the question of why don't you respell it, and there's always
I
lots of
do feel like this word character would be very easy to turn into just a little like an
a single
extra a
thing.
loop.
Don't we have a
Like
letter that is that?
yeah.
No, we don't. That's weird. I thought we did.
No,
Oh, yes, yeah, we do.
yeah.
It's the yeah. Um, wow, this is complicated. Why didn't we just like make a new script?
We could do that. I mean,
I mean, no, that was a joke because we've been leading up to this for like
oh,
a while now, but it's also just like yikes. Um,
I mean, yeah, like I think it's interesting to work out these difficult questions more
it
than
is. I think
just making new stuff.
part of my problem is that I have I've been watching these streams, but I have not been participating in them, and my familiarity with either language is not as deep as it could be, and so it's like a little hard to come in and be like, oh, here's how this could work.
But you know that Miles has been in most of them, and Miles still regularly tells me, why don't I remember as much about the language?
I'm not saying it would necessarily be better if I was here all the time, but okay, so I can hear jingling sounds from the other room, which I assume is Lavuna playing with a toy. But
I
She's
want
not.
to hear the rat song live.
Oh my god, that would not happen this time of day.
I
It's
know, I know. It's a
yeah.
nocturnal treat.
Actually, lately it's also during dinner when people aren't paying attention
Wow.
to her. It's like whenever she's alone, she has to sing her rat song. Okay, so do you want to maybe have a part of this document where we can talk about like where we can make a table of like the letters and I keep forgetting we can't use custom fonts in Google Docs. That's really annoying. But where we can at least have ideas for what each letter is getting used as, or what each sound is getting represented with.
Yep. So um table. So how many columns?
Why don't we do? I mean, so we'll want the proto letter in
The
the
proto
original.
pa,
We'll probably want, I
then
don't know,
the
at least four, I
intermediate
would say,
stage,
right?
and
Four-ish,
then
three-ish.
the modern.
Mm,
And I'm gonna do it 3 and 3.
okay. Wait. Okay. I'll see what you're doing.
Calling it I'll just call it middle.
Sure.
But graphically and then okay. And then and this is just for just for native forms, right?
Yeah, I think for now.
So do you want to do it in alphabetical order or table order? Let's do it. Let's try to do alphabetical.
Sure. Okay.
That's not there yet. I'll put it here for David. So it will be B D Z. Okay. So I know we have an A, we have a B.
See.
Um,
Do we not? Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong language. I was like,
we have an H, we have an I, we have a Yod, we have a K. I'm gonna copy and paste it. I'm sorry, everyone.
oh, I could help with that. Yeah. Is that what we need? Okay.
R P.
Here. She's here, but she's over on the other side of the room.
And we have Z. So, and I remember about throwing Maddie off yesterday that I got it Z, which I found very fun. Because I think that Miles has kind of just adjusted to my.
Oh no. Okay.
I think I have to cut it and paste it. And it does mean that we'd have space for like some extra stuff if we want to move stuff around again. But anyway, so
Okay.
this is easy. This is just going to be A.
Yes.
This is going to be B.
Yeah.
This
Here.
is going to be.
Don't go. No, don't go. Huh? Oh, she's gone. Okay. I don't want to. It's fine.
So, yeah, I remember I tried to use this script to write Kestel before. And I think I decided that I wanted to try and use as few characters as possible. And I started using the pharyngeals for affricates and stuff.
Oh, I don't know about
Very
that.
janky. I think this is how I'm supposed to write that. I think it's also been long enough that David will try and correct me if it's not. Anyway.
Okay. So, okay.
So E, we're not sure at the moment. F will be F, G will be G, H will be
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know why it thinks that U should be the first thing that comes up. E, J, K, M, N.
So, like, for a lot of these, it's not too bad. So, oh, yeah.
So
Well, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing again. Always. Where's our? For some reason, I was thinking it wasn't an O, a proto O. Okay. Yes. So, qua. Yeah,
ooh,
that's fun.
W.
Okay. Now, what were the vowels that we started with? We had E, U, O, A. It was just those, right?
Yes.
And there was some obviously variation for each of them.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I wonder
hmm,
the like. I guess the question is, if you have E and you want to make E, like when we write it in Nasibomo, we write it AI because it
right,
quite off like where it matters in the grammar, it's from a contraction of AI.
right.
Um,
I would say, I mean, that makes sense. Generally, I would, hmm, it's a matter of historical spelling, I guess, because in if we were just like loaning stuff at a later stage, it would make a lot of sense to just make that association and have AI be the way you write the e. But I don't know what they would think at this stage. I'm trying to decide because my first thought was a digraph, but I don't know which one. I feel like AI is the most natural because it's sort of like the midpoint, but that's me thinking with like person who knows the IPA chart brain. Like I don't know
well,
that.
when I think that when you write um,
Also French, but
um, should people come on my uh, journey onto the Devanagari Wikipedia page with me, or should I leave them on the document?
it depends on how long this journey is going to be, I think.
Um, it's just me going to the vowels section and double checking what the combinations look like. Um, because for the air, no, there are plain um, there are plain diacritic versions for all of those files. I'm trying to remember which script it is that has all of the combining ones. It might be Bengali, um, Assamese script, where basically, like, I think that they use some. Oh, it's for O. They have the loop of air plus the tail of A.
Huh,
Anyway, they combine basically um,
got it.
two of these vowel things around one character to produce different vowels.
It's interesting because looking at our letters for A and I, they're actually not that dissimilar. Like
Hmm.
I'm not sure exactly how it would work, but if you sort of smooth out the A, you make the cusp, the pointy bit into a loop, you kind of get to I territory.
I'm gonna put them.
Okay.
Let me do another print screen. Okay.
So yeah, Miles is
Okay.
also asking if one of the other glyphs could be co-opted for E since it's defunct, which it would still show up in the loanwords.
Yeah, it would show up in the
Not very
loanwords, and
frequently.
we're already using the
That
like
was
the jet would like it would depend like what the because I'm trying to imagine how this would actually
so.
because then I'm like, if you just use that top line as the diacritic, you
Oh,
would
I
kind
see.
of end up with what looks like a Latin capital E. If I like, if you let, can I
Okay,
insert?
what I was gonna say was this was my thought of like combining
Oh,
them. They're actually not that far apart, right?
oh yeah.
But then you'd end up with a situation where three of your vowel letters look kind of very similar. I don't actually want to do that necessarily, but um, if I guess there's other ways they could combine, like oh, this is kind of silly, but like this would be I. Wait a minute, what did I just do? More like IA sequence, but if there was like an extra thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like if it starts as a digraph and then for convenience it simplifies.
It would end up. I'm trying to remember if we have one. I know that it definitely exists in Burmese, although I feel like Burmese has like every possible loop you could imagine. Um, I can't see it, so I'm gonna get the Burmese one on. It basically is like it probably would count as a telephone. No, it doesn't actually loop. So I
Oh,
think it was safe from those. It's this one, but I was imagining it turned upside down. Like so, basically, you would start writing the A, and then you would kind of just loop over into the I. Like basically, it would just become
with the loop there.
yeah. Like
That's quite a loopy character.
well, yeah, it's from Burmese. Like
No, I
something.
mean like if I'm understanding what you're saying right, like the bottom row here, is that what you mean? It
Um,
ends up not really looking much like it at all, to be
no,
honest. But
I
that's
was
just the way I did it.
imagining
Oh
a
wait,
lot,
sorry, it should be.
a lot closer to this one that I have on screen. So that you ignore the. So like the first part is like if this is like three sides of the circle, then you basically just go into this other loop, which is the second part of the I.
So
Or something like it basically if you turn
oh,
an S like 90 degrees.
I think I understand. So it sort of ends up closed-ish, maybe.
It wouldn't have to close.
Just because the curved part of the top of the A would end up meeting or nearly meeting the
Yeah,
loop.
like I think we could look at a close option and a open option, to be honest.
I see. So, okay. Let's just tentatively write down
I see
a.
Miles saying it's giving Tamil, and I feel like everything I've ever done, Miles will say, "Oh, it's giving Tamil." like I did an L once, and Miles was like, "Oh, that reminds me of Tamil," and I'm like, "I guess there is an L in Tamil, but it does remind me first of all of the Latin character." which we know and love. um, um, and also, I know that people are saying they're pro loopy. You can see the characters that already exist. It's already
It's very loopy.
um, I'm also looking at what we already have, and I think it would. They already have what is effectively a series of like I think in Latin you would describe them as like M size glyphs, right?
Oh yeah.
Where they kind of they're basically like twice as wide as well you can if you look at G, G, and Gua, the Gua is slightly wider than
Yes.
the single loop. And so I feel like they would probably try and have whatever we do go with fit into that.
I have some ideas for how
Mhm.
that could end up looking, but um yeah, something like that.
Um, do we want to talk any more about the quirk of P, or do we just go with it? Because I'm fine with saying that like a foreign quirk is written as either quirk, not what I wanted, like quirk.
Well, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think we can go with that.
The other thing is that like there's going to be a lot of Z and S.
Yeah, let's take a look at what those sequences look like, because that's important. So the D is like the epsilon looking one, D.
Yes.
Which is either sort of smoothed out or not, depending on what the style is, and the Z is just a line.
Mm-hmm. Would it end up looking like a B if you flipped it?
That's my first thought too, and then I realized that that's like that exact thing happens in the Valia script where like key is the three or the epsilon looking one, and then I've got la is the vertical, and kla, which is a very common prefix, basically looks like those combined. But it could work.
And then if
And
we
then
do this is gonna be weirder.
not great. Yeah. Okay.
S and Z are both fairly sticky though.
Sticky. Oh, sticky. Yes.
Stick like.
Um.
Stickly. Stickly is such a funny word. Anyway.
What if? Oh, David will hate this. So if we look at the T letter,
yeah.
the end of it, if it crosses to become like the crossbar of the S, and so we get two loops. It's the one of these.
Lovely.
Because my first thought was the one at the top right, where I was like, we'll just add the cross thing, and then it's like, well, obviously that stroke is just gonna connect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Um, I'm trying to think like, what if it's this? The T is a lot more labor intensive
Sure
than
is.
the S, right? And
Yeah.
same with the, not quite to the same extent, but the
Yeah.
like
The D compared to the Z.
if the Z, like if you tried to smooth out the that anyway, it would basically just become a straight line anyway, right?
Pretty much.
And so the Z could just be a double Z.
Oh, that's interesting. It's double. Oh, that's not bad.
And then would that then mean that you
I
either
mean,
you'd
it could
write
just be
it,
a parallel thing where they then, because the double Z is the double S can be S,
and then you could do two straight lines and cross it?
and one horizontal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's possible. It reminds me of the medieval Welsh, like they had a ligature version of the sh. It was a double L, but they had the line through it.
Hmm.
I could even see, for convenience or something, um, one or both of the verticals for the double S sort of straightening out, and it almost becomes more like an H
Hmm.
that where the horizontal extends. Because
I think
the
that
key
makes
thing with,
sense.
I mean, like obviously double F is kind of awkward in any font because the pops end up
Hmm.
bunching together, and so you usually end up having to like make a ligature for it, or they overlap in a way that is ugly if you look at it closely. So it could straighten out a bit. I don't remember in the font. It ends up okay. I ended up doing more of a curve to try to match the Arial F.
Hmm.
So in the font version, it's more vertical at the base and just curves at the top, but it curves much
Hmm.
more. Um, but this could potentially be even something approaching like this, where you get the diagonal, but they straighten out.
Hmm.
That's not too bad. It's not exactly. It doesn't super match the aesthetic of the rest of it, but I think if done neatly, it could be okay.
So what if it was like a curve, like a A?
Like a what? Sorry.
Rather than if like the way that we're doing it, we're thinking that you do the, like you're writing the line and then you come back and do another line and then cross, right? But if you're not
Yes.
worrying about the where things are starting to adopt that approach, then you could do the two lines together and cross them like a A. I think that's a bit janky, but
Oh, connect them at the top.
yeah.
Maybe.
Um,
There's a few
like,
ways I could see that going. Like if maybe this is the point where I should share my screen. I don't know. We're only at like 12 minutes left, so maybe not. But um, yeah. Um, I was thinking like if so the first stroke, for whatever reason, I was always doing this one upward. Like it was I don't know if you ever hand wrote this, but I always did it as a stroke from bottom to top and then added the sidebar. So I was
oh,
thinking,
no, I have been too deeply ingrained in.
you know, it's maybe a little awkward. I don't remember why um I started doing it that way. I think I found it easier to get the right angle that way. But in any case, what I was gonna say is if the first stroke, the left one is upwards, and the second one is back down, I keep naturally finding kind of like this shape where they're both curved, but the
Hmm.
curvature, the angle is a little different.
Yeah.
I kind of like the look at that. And
Hmm.
then if we go with that, you can even do it in a like, well, maybe not actually. I was gonna say a one stroke version where you start with a crossbar, but that's really awkward to do. it ends up getting too squished. But it's interesting. It's an idea. We should write that down though.
Do you mean something like this one?
I do not. I mean, this is sort of where I was getting to.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
the first one was actually done as 2 strokes, and then it looks almost like 3 anyway, but it kept getting too squished. I don't like the way that looks.
It also looks suspiciously like a Ichthys,
Like a what?
the Christian fish thing.
Does it?
Like,
Like if that was based on a manta instead of a regular fish, maybe.
how do you know it wasn't a manta that they were looking at?
Mm,
The Mediterranean manta community feels very invalidated, right?
okay.
Also,
Okay,
there's
so
no way manta is like, where does manta even come from? Like the word. Sorry, I am far too distractible. Carry on.
wait a minute. Spanish for blanket?
Yeah, because I was gonna say, if they're not named after blankets, are they? And no, they are.
That's really funny. Okay, so that's probably cognate with the Yiddish for coat, mantel. My guess. I actually have no idea. I should look that up. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Yep. For sure. That's cool. Okay. What?
Okay, we've got 9 minutes.
Oh God. Okay. Well. Okay. So we do have
Wait,
everything filled out for these columns,
here.
but the question is like, where does this all end up?
Where does what all end up?
Well, this is still the middle stage, and we have to figure out like how spelling actually works. Or are we just going straight from Lexergy and just like whatever it says for that middle stage is how we spell it?
Yes.
Well, that's easy then.
Well, I think that maybe when we come to the grammatical forms, it's worth giving them a second pass and making sure that they aren't very awkward. Kind of like what we did with Nasi Bomo, effectively, where like, because a lot of them come from some quite aggressive contractions.
Yeah. So we end up with quite a few letters that we just don't use at all.
Other than for loan words.
Other than loan words.
Yes.
I was thinking more about what you said earlier with using the pharyngals for the affricates. And it was starting to appeal at the point where I was like trying to make these ligatures and they were just looking bad. But I think we should keep that open as an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially, let me just add that. So I'm going to say, or that's, oh wait, not that though. It would be the D, pharyngeal D, right? Not the Z. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, I don't know.
I mean,
it could be.
It could be.
Because I feel like if you're doing the pharyngalized S, sla, it's like a more beefy.
It's a stronger version of the.
And that actually kind of makes. I mean, it makes sense either way because it's sort of like stronger version of a T2 in a sense. So now we maybe have 3 possibilities.
So this is ignoring these 3, I think. So, for example, these ones all become the articles, right?
Right.
But you can see that they're actually the basic versions don't change a huge amount. But if we add ho. It's ho that is the plural form. And I think that we lose that there. Let's see. Like, I think this all is honestly fine. Like, oh, we are doing Fouvet here. Yeah, we are. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I'm trying to remember, like, we have this knee stuff as well, right? So but it's not stressed, and we do stress the pronoun there.
Right.
For me, and so, but I think we did reduce this to bune, so we may, like, it may be that you wouldn't write it all out as boo
Yeah, potentially.
I
think there. Yeah, I think even if we say that like spelling was more or less solidified at a certain point, there's always going to be a few exceptions, and for particularly common things, I think that's very reasonable. It is fun to sometimes have just like extra syllables in the writing, which, I mean, it sounds kind of weird, but like we have that all the time in English. We just don't notice
in
them.
English, yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know, every has that extra E in the middle for no reason. I mean, not for no reason, but like, and so many, I mean, we just have so many that it's just like we just don't notice them as syllables, or even just like a casual pronunciation of like probably, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I was gonna say, like, you sometimes you do say the schwa in every.
I certainly do not.
Like, I think, like, if it's probably a feature of like being like, sorry to do a religion on you right at the end of the stream, but like, because I'm often in churches with a lot of older people singing old hymns.
Oh, that's a very different context. Yes.
Yes.
You hear it there for sure. But like,
but even then, you do see a lot of people writing it EV apostrophe RY.
Right. I think that just means that the reduction goes back a long time, but it's not
like a very long way. Yeah.
It's. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like a poet or a lyricist or whatever will use whichever form is more convenient at a given time. I will be right back. I'm like not going far.
Okay.
There's just something important.
I think I added an extra vowel in Ichthys. It's just an Ichthys.
Okay, this is important. She's here. I had to. She may not want to stay. You want to look at the camera? She's okay, come on, silly. Here, say hi to everyone. Oh, she's being called for her dinner. Okay. Well, anyway, with the tail in front of my face. This is like how I experience many things while using my computer. Okay, that is all.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on, and I'm excited to see where this ends up going.
Yes.
I need to make a public service announcement, which is do not show up next week because we will not be here. And I will not be on Mavi's channel either, but you can watch her for your start of the week conlanging fix, and then you can watch Let's Time Studio.
Let's have a studio.
Let's have a studio on Thursdays. For me, it's at 10 p.m. And as David says, at the only time that matters. So yeah, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
I'm assuming we're still going. Probably.
Stop streaming and don't say anything strange about going to use the toilet for like
Definitely not.
a minute.
Won't say anything like that.